If you're a center mid serious about improving so you can get to the college level, you've probably been around in-person training, maybe some group training, or just some sort of coaching outside of your regular club and high school practices. And if you've done that and you're on this video, you're probably seeing some improvement. You're probably getting better, but you do know that you have way more in the tank. You have way more potential, and you're probably reading the stats that are very much true about how difficult it is to get to the college level, to get to the Division I level. And where you're at right now just isn't good enough, honestly. And that's okay. I did in-person training for a while. I did it for 4 years throughout coaching, and while it was great to see some progress, I knew that the guys that were getting to the levels that they said they wanted to be at, they were doing more than just once or twice a week with a private coach. And since switching to remote training to online training, it's been the best decision of my coaching career, and I'm actually able to help guys way more. So I'm going to touch on all of that here in a second. If we haven't met yet, this is the first time you've seen any of my videos. I'm Chris Cushing. I work with center mids across the country through a 12-week remote program so they can improve, get better, and then stand out for colleges, right? So we'll get into it. So here's the reason that you're not improving with your in-person private trainer. I got a few notes here, and the first thing is that, in-person just isn't enough, okay? And this is not to shame any in-person trainers. I'm good friends with a lot of guys that do work with kids in person. It's amazing. Like, it's amazing what you can do, the way you can impact a kid by seeing him once a week. What if you saw him more than that? What if you helped him more than that, right? And I've been there, and I've been limited by my time and my resources to help somebody out on the in-person side. And it's my biggest regret to not switch to remote earlier. So in-person training just isn't enough. And I'm gonna go into your shoes because I know I was there. You love the work. If I'm reaching the right audience, this is probably you. Not saying you just love to like suffer and just like sweat and work hard. Well, maybe you do. I think all of us have that side of us, right? But more, you just love the daily improvement. You love getting better. You love getting feedback. And when you do have that extra work, it's a chance for you to compete, for you to grow, not only as a player, but mentally if you're in a high environment, and you love the work. But the thing is, 1 to 2 days isn't enough. Okay? And I've drawn this image before, and it's probably not something iPad started glitch, but here is an image that I like to draw, and this is like the 99% of people out there, and you probably heard of it. This is like the 1%. Okay, and those 1% are the guys that go D1, even like high D2, to be honest. And 1 to 2 days isn't enough to get there. You know that you don't improve by just doing something, 52 times a year, right? 52 weeks. No, the guys who were doing the right things 7 days a week, I don't know what the math, it would be 365 days a year. They'd be doing that 365 days a week instead of you only 52 or maybe around 100 if you are with the in-person private trainer once or twice a week. Keep in mind, that's until you get in season. You're too busy, you're traveling, have your social life as well, and it's hard to keep that up, right? And if you want to get to this 1% that people talk about, and it's true, it's difficult to get there, you need to be doing more than just 1 to 2 days. 1 to 2 days a week isn't enough. I have a note here, like, how do you expect to be the top 1% if you're only doing what like 95% of people can do, right? The people that are up there, they're doing what everyone else down here isn't doing. Okay, and I'll touch on what that actually can look like for you. So remote training, how much value does it actually get? Like, what is remote training? Like, how does that even work? Well, we'll break it down in a few points here. So again, you need a full like transformation to play in college. You don't just need a better touch, right? I did all the ball mastery drills out there, the triangle passing patterns with my boys, and then I got to the college level, and the good thing is I could beat them in a game of 2-touch because I was always at the fields. I was always working on my touch, I could hit a good free kick and impress the coach and we could laugh about it. But during the actual game, I wasn't prepared because I hadn't been training the things that really mattered for that level. So you don't need more cone drills. Okay? You don't even need a better touch in a way. You need a more effective touch. You need to be able to not just hit a 10-yard pass to your boy in an individual or a group session you're doing with him. You need to be hitting that pass against D1 guys who are moving way faster, someone that's pushing you off balance, a 6'5" dude from Europe that's, jumping all over you. You need to be at that level. You need to be at that level. So you need a full transformation. So you need to do the proper film. You need to be in a community of other guys that are like-minded to you trying to get to that level, and you need constant access to someone that's been D1 or been to the college level that you want to get to. Okay, so you don't need more cone drills. If cone drills was the answer, I'm speaking to myself because I thought it was for so long. Well, if cone drills was the answer, then Google would have made me into a top D1 talent, but it didn't. It wasn't cone drills that did it. It was the way I trained, the feedback I got, and the philosophy of training that got me to the next level, got me to play 5,000 minutes of D1 soccer, and got me the pro trials. Right? It wasn't just ChatGPT hitting me with, okay, try this new method. Doesn't work, or else everybody would be a D1 player. And it's just not true. So second thing, structure. What if I gave you the magic pill that literally just laid out everything you need to be doing every single day from now until you commit and then going into your college season and then for your next 4 years, everything you needed to do. I just gave you a to-do list. Okay, hey, if you just hit this every day, bang, you're good. You're good. You made it. Okay, it'd still be hard. Like, you still have to go work out. You still have to do the work, but it'd be a lot easier because you know you're going in the right direction. And so with in-person training, and again, I can't promise you a magic pill. I can't promise you any results, even if you do work with me, okay? I'll promise that if you put the work in, you will. And you can see on my website the testimonies of guys. Those are all the guys that have really committed to it, that I like to show off, right? I always say, like, your success is my best marketing, right? So if you're working hard, then yeah, I got you. But I can't guarantee results just by you watching this video, that's for sure. So in-person training, and going back to this, like one of the first points here, like you love the work, like you finish an in-person session, like knowing you got sharper, knowing you sweated and you worked hard and you love it. So say in-person, you trained on Thursday. Put a little smiley face there because you like the work, you like the in-person training. And then for all of these days, you're on your own. I'm being a little bit dramatic and I'm fine with that because obviously, like, I'm not saying that your day is just ruined when you're not training, but here's the point, is that you have structure, you're good, you know what you're doing on the Thursday, and then what about the other days? I don't know, with remote training, and you can look into like what I do and how it works. Well, you know what you're gonna do Monday, you get feedback on what you do Monday. You know what you're gonna do Tuesday, you get feedback. Maybe you send in some film Wednesday, then you get some feedback. Maybe Thursday is your day off, right? So maybe I can put like a frowny face, I don't know, just like to make it even. Like, I'll give you one frowny face when in reality, like, my guys, they know what to do on their off days. Like, they have the mobility, they have extra film they can do, they can call me, all that. And then, cool, back on it Friday. You've got your game on Saturday, say. That's a smiley face because we have a pre-game routine, we have a post-game routine. We have our three main focuses going into the match that we looked over through film. And then we can actually look at that film on the next Wednesday, say it was. And we can make it another smiley face because we're going to look over the film. Sunday, say it's an off day. I'm going to give it a smiley face this time. I don't think it was fair to give a frowny face on Thursday, but Sunday's a positive day because you know how to recover, right? You have someone to break down. Say you went out there and you scored a double hat trick. You know, your team lost 10-0 and you scored 8 of them on your own net, something like that. Well, we're going to talk and we're going to make sure you're all right. We're going to decide what worked, what didn't work. A lot didn't work, and that's okay. That gives me more ways to help you. And we're going to implement it. We go back to the beginning of the week, and then we'll go through the next week with more smileys, right? And so if you do the math, and I'm kind of putting myself on the spot because I don't want to do too much math, but in 1 month, if you have this first example, maybe you train once a week the first week, twice a week the next, once a week the next, and you're out of town, so you can't see in the next. So you're training 3 times, say out of 30, if that's a month, compared to, in reality, knowing what you need to do every single day, just 30 out of 30. Who wins here? Who wins, right? And if you're watching this video, hopefully you can do some math. Of course, 30 out of 30 wins, and that's just 1 month. Okay, that's just 1 month. Multiply that by 12 months, a whole year. That's a whole lot more, right? That's a whole lot more. Again, I did the math earlier. 365 days, bang. Maybe you got sick one day. 364 out of 365. Compared to what? It was 12 times 3. 36 to, this is in red. 36. 365. Okay? So who wins here? 364 days gotten better, or 36 days? Okay? 364 days is getting better, right? And it's not that like you're not training the other days. Like I know you're going out and you're training. If you're anything like I was, like I couldn't even fathom a week that I wouldn't get an extra work. I wouldn't try to improve or work out. But it doesn't have anything to do with if you're training. It's if your training actually matters, right? Because even for the 3 days in this month that the guy that doesn't work with a remote coach does train, well, the guy in green still has a better day if they match up like day for day for those 3 days, because his training is more intentional, right? He's not just going out and doing cone drills. He's getting feedback on the structured plan he has. He has a training plan to go. He has a film plan to look at. He has a strength and conditioning plan, everything that he needs for that. So I'm selling out the fact, like, again, even if you watch this video and you could care less about me, find someone that's going to give you more support than more than just 1 or 2 days of cone drills a week in person. Okay, even if you hate me, that's cool. Hope if you're still watching, you don't absolutely hate me. So you're going to have structure. That's what remote training does. You're going to have some structure. First one was you don't need more cone drills. You need a transformation. You need film work. You need a community of other guys doing the same thing as you. You need constant access to me, someone that's been D1, or not me, someone else that you don't hate as much. Okay, I'm just messing. So third part is in season or stuff. Right, stuff happens, and this is what I mean. So when you're in season, what happens on the going back to this example, what happens on the Thursday here when this is in red? This is like the only day you get to train in person with your private coach because you're restrained to that. What if on that day you get a new dog and he pees all over the floor and you got to go clean up with him? Or maybe you have a project that came up and your partner, he doesn't know what he's doing, so you have to do all the project by yourself. Well, what happens in that day? What happens when you go out of town? What happens when you get sick? Well, you just lost your only day, your only smiley face day, your only training day. Again, I'm not saying that you're not going to train on the other days, but you have to train smart. You have to train fast. That's what a remote coach allows you to do. So when in season something comes up, then what happens? Well, you need someone to help you find out how to train with only 15 minutes a day. Someone to train when maybe you tweaked a muscle and you need some like mobility, or you need some injury like prehab stuff for your game. Phone died. That one hurt. I'm pretty sure I was right here at the mobility side here. Okay, so when you're in season, you need to make sure if something does happen, you've got a tweaked muscle, you have an injury that's always coming up. Well, you need more than just a cone drill. You need someone to help you with the mobility side, the stretching side. You need someone that, I'm not no yoga, like professor, but I do know it worked for me and kept me healthy. And then as far as like being in season, well, in season means more games, means more data. This is actually the most exciting part of your development. Most people get this wrong because they think they have games, which means they can't practice. But games means you need to practice more intentionally to prepare for the games, but they're giving you more data so you can know exactly what you need to learn from it and you need to focus on. When I go out there and I get on the half turn and I make the same mistake 3 times in a row and my touch is bad, it gets away from me and I lose the ball. Well, I need to go through, have film to find out those situations, to find out and notice that pattern
so I can fix it the next game, right? Why would you wait until the summer when you don't have games to train? So you would rather just wait for these next 4 months to lose all of the, like, make all these mistakes in your games, repeat all these bad decisions, so that way college coaches make sure they never get to see you in your games. But then you're going to email throughout the summer saying how much you've improved, but they have no proof, right? The proof is in the games. So this is your chance to watch your film, be in season, prove yourself. Okay, another example, I won't touch on this too long, but like say bad weather comes up right now. We're in it's gonna be like a blizzard on the East Coast or saying something like that. And I pray that it's not as bad as they say it will be. But if something does come up, well, bang, can't see your in-person training for the next 2 weeks. It's too cold out, or the fields are covered with ice, right? No, you need to find a way to get better. Again, you can watch the film, you can modify the sessions. If it's too cold out, if you're in season, you only have 5 to 10 minutes to train, you better make sure you have a modified session that's still on track for your development to get you where you need to be, right? And then also, like, how do you do that? Well, you make it super intentional. You make it super intentional. This is one of my favorite words on this channel, because most guys, they're center mids and they never practice long balls, right? Or even if you're if they're strikers, they don't actually practice like the situation they find themselves in games. They're center backs, all they do is take shots all day, right? I work with center mids, but the truth is we need to be intentional about the moments that matter. Okay, so got some examples here. Just of how blessed I am to be able to do this remotely to help players like this. I've got a player, he got injured. We started working together week 1, grade 3 ankle sprain. Really felt bad for him, but he had a good mentality. I coached him through it. I was like, hey, we're going to think neutrally. We're going to take what we have, take the information, treat it as like neutral perspective, and just find a way to improve each day. We grinded the film. We grinded to make sure he still got after each day mentally. He was doing like swimming, and I don't know much about swimming, but I ran him a workout that I used ChatGPT for, and I was like, hey, if you do this for like 30 minutes, you're supposed to get a good workout. He did it. It was hard. He got better. That way he comes back from injury a better player, a better mentality, instead of just taking off for forever. Another example of a guy, he's really big, like he's a junior in high school, and his high school team traditionally doesn't let juniors or even sophomores especially be captains. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to be a captain as a junior. I worked with him to kind of implement these strategies that I learned through being a D1 captain, through being a captain in my club. Actually, I wasn't a captain in my club team, my high school team, and help them with that. And so on the leadership side, that's something that I wasn't able to do as an in-person coach, was help somebody with like something like that, right? I only had an hour a day. Again, before the next kid had to came, the next parent dropped the kid off to train with me, I had to get going, right? Luckily, I don't have to do that anymore. I can sit down, talk, have a Zoom, text them like, hey, how'd it go? How do we implement a new strategy to bring that culture together as a leader so you can step into that role? Last player is like the last example. Thankfully, I don't have to just be restricted to, right now I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. I don't have to be just restricted in this city. I can coach guys from everywhere else. I've got a guy from Canada, I got a guy from the U.S. Virgin Islands, talking to players abroad as well. And it's like super exciting because like I've learned that I don't like working with players that aren't committed, that aren't serious, that aren't obsessed, because I don't want to bring them into my community of guys that are like that, and they're just going to hurt the program overall, right? I don't like that. So it's cool. I can go anywhere across the country, and you can get help from someone on the East Coast if you're on the West Coast, right? So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, all that being said, again, I hope I didn't miss too much because my camera died. I think that I started off at the right point. But yeah, overall, like, yes, I know some great in-person coaches. I believe I was a decent in-person coach and I helped guys, but unfortunately that's not enough for you. If you're watching this video, if you like know me and what I do, you're probably not just some guy that wants to be babysat for an hour or to stay busy just to have fun with the cone drills, right? You like to enjoy soccer, but you obsess with improving, you obsess with having something to do to get better 7 days a week, not once or twice, because again, we want more of these. If you remember this example, more of these, and remote training allows you to do that. So if you are interested in something like that and you're center mid, you're super committed, you're super serious. If you're not any of those things, you don't want to play in college, you don't think you can improve as a player, just click off and ignore what I'm going to say here in a second. But if you are the type of player that I think would be a good fit for the program, would be a good fit to bring into the community, then you can hit the link. It's the first link in the bio of this video, the description of this video. You can apply to work with me one-on-one. You can message me and follow me on Instagram as well, but the best way to reach me is through applying through that link. If we haven't met already, if you're a subscriber and you've just been watching the videos, grateful for you, and be on the lookout for some more stuff. Keep killing it, guys.